Welcome to another edition of Closer to Home Small Business Spotlight. As a realtor, it's really important to have a team of professionals to help answer questions that may be outside of your scope of practice. So whether that's a real estate attorney, mortgage broker, handyman, maybe even an inspector, having people on your team is an important key for you and your clients. When it comes to education, when it comes to homework, tutoring, maybe it's college exam prep, I think it's important to have a team that can help support you there as well. Today I'm sitting with Sarah Kochan, who is the owner of iAchieve Learning, who has that team available. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing terrific.
Good.
Thank you for coming today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me too.
My pleasure. It's such an important piece, and I see it pop up a lot online. People looking and having questions. I have students struggling with chemistry, or we have ACTs coming up, and my first thought is how did you get here? What's your background and what led you into iAchieve?
Sure. So I started, I was a high school math teacher at Maine South High School. I have my master's degree in mathematics. I started teaching there in 2006, and I taught for 10 years, so 2006 to 2016. And while I was teaching, I started doing a lot of private tutoring just because parents needed math help.
Absolutely.
And I really, really enjoyed it. I thoroughly loved the one-on-one interaction with kids. And I had a lot of students that I was working with at one point. So in 2014, I decided to start a tutoring business and start hiring subcontractors to help in other areas since I only specialize in math.
Sure.
And that's where iAchieve Learning was born. So it was in 2014, I was teaching full-time and trying to run the business at the same time. And then in 2016, I finally resigned from teaching.
Gotcha.
So it was a tough decision for me to make, but I was almost kind of doing two jobs at once.
Made this your focus.
Exactly.
And we're glad you did, because you helped our youngest as well with some math prep going in, which was terrific.
Thank you.
That was great. So if we've talked about math, I'm sure there's chemistry, there's other things. What are the specialties? What's the I guess the expansive aspect of the tutoring and the subjects, if I can get those words out, that are covered through iAchieve?
Yeah, so we specialize in all subjects, all grade levels, so it basically goes from kindergarten through high school. We get some college students. We've actually had some adult learners from time to time.
Okay.
But we specialize in all subjects. Honestly, the biggest subject that we get in a lot is math and science.
I'm sure.
For younger kids, it's usually reading, writing, maybe a combination of reading, writing, and math. And then our biggest service by far is our ACT and SAT test prep right now. So we work with many families in Park Ridge and the surrounding cities to help their son or daughter go through that process. Yeah.
I'm sure there are a lot of parents out there as well that when you're going through it, you feel like, oh, this is only my kid, or I'm only hearing this from them, or is it just me, or you're struggling. What are the most common things you're hearing either from the students or from the parents that you can help ease minds on?
Sure. Are you talking about in terms of ACT, SAT test prep?
Either way. I guess mainly I'm thinking that process.
Yeah. So a lot of the common questions we get about ACT, SAT test prep is, what test should I focus on? And what we recommend is we offer a free practice test for students to take. So students will take both a practice ACT, SAT. We know that they offer the PSAT in the fall.
Right.
So we can use the PSAT score, but sometimes students like to take an actual practice SAT.
Okay.
Then we look at that, determine the baseline score, strengths and weaknesses, and we determine which test is going to be a better fit.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I guess same thing to an extent with just regular tutoring with that assistance. They may hear, oh, I don't test well, or I don't do homework well, or what advice can you help that maybe either they're not asking or don't know to ask, or to help guide their students and their kids?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, just know that you're not alone. I talk with families.
That's why you're here.
Exactly. I talk with families all the time, and we hear different stories. So every student is completely different. And it could be that they have test anxiety, for example. That could be an issue. So a lot of times it's really diving in and getting into the content, because a lot of times if there's gaps in knowledge, that can lead to students feeling anxiety and things like that. Anxious. It's a lot of confidence building over time. It could be a student who maybe has fallen in bad patterns of not turning in homework and is disorganized, which gets into executive functioning skills, which is another thing that we can help with. So we have tutors that can help with organization, time management, certain study skills to help prepare students for school.
Awesome. Okay. Any final thoughts for parents or advice for parents that are considering this?
Absolutely. So if you're not sure, honestly, just reach out and have a conversation. I'm always here to help, whether it's a good fit or not, or whether you choose to move forward with our services in any way or not. I just know that I was a teacher. I know how to help kids. I've talked to families over the years in all different situations. So just reach out, have a conversation, and we can see if it's going to be a good fit moving forward.
Okay, awesome. All really good, helpful information. I think at least even for people to go, oh, here's where somewhere I can go. I can get some questions answered. So I appreciate you taking the time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, terrific, thank you. If you have additional questions about iAchieve, about tutoring, about ACT prep, etc., definitely reach out to Sarah at iAchieve. I'll have her information in the link as well. If you do have questions about buying or selling real estate in the Park Ridge or surrounding areas, don't hesitate to reach out. I am always happy to help. And remember, when you work with Paul, you're closer to home.